Hey there, I'm Chef Ani, and today we are making the best vegan plant-based meatballs on the planet. At least I think so. They are delicious, so simple to make, and you are going to love them. They're going to change mealtime around your house because that's what it's done in my house. So enough talking, let's get cooking. So we're going to get started by mixing together our dry ingredients, starting with some Vital Wheat gluten. Now I do get asked where you can get Vital Wheat gluten, and I use the Bob's Red Mill brand, and you can find that in most grocery stores or in health food stores or on Amazon. And you can order them in larger quantities, which is excellent because we like a lot of meatballs around this house. The next ingredient is panko breadcrumbs, and panko helps make these meatballs a little fluffier, less compact. We don't want like dense meatballs, right? No, definitely not. We're going in with some nutritional yeast flakes next. This is good. It gives a nice flavor to it. We're also going to add in just a touch of flour. This helps with the consistency. Add some dried mushroom powder, and this is like the secret ingredient in a lot of my recipes. We take dried mushrooms and then we just grind them into a powder, and that adds such flavor to any kind of like meatballs or like meat substitutes that you make. It makes it so delicious. Next, we're adding in some sage and Italian seasoning. Cayenne pepper going in there as well. It's not going to be spicy, it's just going to add to that flavor. So if you don't like spicy food, don't worry. This is just helping round out that flavor. Okay, so you have our dry ingredients here. We're also going to add in some walnuts. But there is a special thing about the walnuts. You want to mince them. So if they're too large in size, they will fall out of the meatballs. So you want to make sure to mince them well enough that they will blend into those meatballs and not just fall out of them. I know I've talked about this before, but my dad loves walnuts. He has them every morning for breakfast, doesn't he, Mama?
He does.
You buy them in these massive bags because the man can eat some walnuts. Now, if you or somebody in your family is allergic to nuts, you can leave the walnuts out of this recipe. But it does add a nice texture and consistency, so we really enjoy the walnuts. So as you can see here, I have really gone to town on this, and it is quite fine because we want these walnuts to stay in the meatballs. So now that we have our dry ingredients, we're going to work on our wet ingredients. I'm going to start with a little bit of onion. This adds a nice flavor to these meatballs. We're also going to add in some garlic. Next, we're going to add in some tofu. Now, this isn't going to taste like tofu. It just helps with the consistency of these meatballs. Now we're adding in some vegetable stock, some Bragg's liquid aminos. But if you don't like Bragg's, you can use soy sauce, and a little bit of oil. Then we're going to add in some Better Than bouillon and then blend this until smooth. Now that we have both our dry and wet ingredients, we're going to make a well in the center of our dry ingredients. Pour that right in there, and we just start mixing this together. And then with clean hands, I'm just getting in here and kneading it just a little bit, just so we get a nice dough out of this. Now that we have our finished dough, we're going to make our meatballs. So you just want to take a little bit, and this can be a pretty small meatball. You don't want to go too crazy because they do swell when you cook them. And you want to roll your meatball until it's very nice and smooth and no cracks or breaks in it. And then you just get really busy and keep repeating this process until you're done. Now that we have shaped our meatballs, we're just going to boil some water, add some Bragg's liquid aminos, and then drop our meatballs into the water. And it's really important that this broth is simmering when you drop them in. And you just want to be careful when you drop them in so that it doesn't splash up on you. It's very good to drop them in one or two at a time so that they will be surrounded by the broth so they won't stick together in one big clump. Now we just pop the lid back on and let them simmer for about an hour. So our meatballs are done cooking. They look incredible, and you can really take it where you want to from here. We will often brown them in a pan before serving. You can eat them just like this. Of course, they go so well with all sorts of things. Like you could do spaghetti and meatballs. You could add a gravy and mashed potatoes and make it as kind of like a more fancy dinner. You could eat them plain. They are that good. You can make a meatball sub or sandwich. That would be incredible. So there's so many different options. I love these meatballs. Delicious. The whole family loves them, and I hope you do too. And you can get the entire recipe on my website, chefani.com. I'll leave a link down below. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post new videos every Wednesday, and I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday with another video.